With all the intense competition and pressure in sports, athletes sometimes push the boundaries and break the rules. At the Paris women's bicycle race, a competitor found herself in hot water after employing the controversial sticky bottle technique. This maneuver involves holding onto a water bottle from a support vehicle longer than necessary, and ultimately led to her disqualification. With no timeouts remaining, the back-then Brooklyn Nets coach had to get creative and told one of the players to hit him so he can spill his drink and get some much-needed timeout.
Transition, just over 8 seconds remaining.
Nets have no timeouts remaining. 8.3 on the clock.
I used to do that all the time on purpose. I wanted to talk to the team.
In the controversial finish of the Kentucky Derby 2019, the horse named Maximum Security crossed the finish line first by a large margin, seemingly winning the prestigious race. However, Maximum Security was later disqualified for interference, since during a turn it was clear that Maximum Security drifted from its path, affecting other horses' chances of winning, and nearly causing a pileup.
Maximum Security moved out of lane before he was clear, forcing the rider of number 1, War of Will, to chuck up a little bit.
Probably not intentional, but on the second lap of the 2023 steeple, Emma Coburn was tripped by Jacqueline Chepkoch, causing her to fall to the ground on the second lap. Luckily, no one was injured, and Coburn explained that after falling, she spent too much energy trying to catch up, and had nothing left the last lap. During the toughest part of the trail of a cyclist race, it can be clearly seen that one of the cyclists was getting help from his team. It was later claimed that the cyclist was having mechanical problems. That's why he needed the lift, which was true, but he should have waited for the bike instead of using the car to pass people. When it comes to drama on the field, this player deserves a standing ovation, or maybe just a red card for his theatrics. Ty Gibson showed off his innovative approach to defense, one shoe at a time, when he attempted to block using his shoe. Needless to say, using a foreign object is a no-no in the eyes of the NBA.
He certainly went up with it. Towns doing that block to Vintage. You can't block.
Even though it's common for referees to toss hats to mark penalty, for some reason a replacement ref tossed a hat for no reason and tripped the receiver who narrowly avoids injury. Back in 2009, the New Orleans Saints were going a little too hard on the game against the Minnesota Vikings. It even seemed that they were trying to purposefully injure them. This caused an investigation by the NFL and journalists, which revealed that there were bounties played in forms of bonus if the players targeted certain opponents.
Players on the New Orleans Saints were paid money for hitting players with such brutal force it knocked them out of games.
In the tapes, recorded by a documentary filmmaker, Williams seems to exhort the team to deliberately injure 49ers players.
We've got to do everything in the world to make sure we kill Frank Gore's head. We want him running sideways.
J.R. Smith may have had a reputation for his skills on the court, but it was his knack for untying opponents' shoelaces which has resulted him in several fines by the NBA.
Bill, you ever tried that? Oh, yeah. Does it work for you the way it works?
In a nail-biting finale at the Diamond League men's 5,000-meter race, the leading runner's balance took an unexpected turn. Desperate to stay upright and keep the second-place runner from passing him, he grabbed and pulled on his opponent's shorts. He was later disqualified for his actions.
That could have been embarrassing.
A University of Texas student broke the world record for the 50-meter backstroke competition when he swam it in just 23 seconds. But despite leaving the whole crowd in awe, the technique he used was illegal. According to the sport's governing body for backstroke, a swimmer must break the surface of water throughout the race.
But look at Hill Taylor just going for it. Wow, Hill Taylor touching a 23.10. Holy jeez.
Trevor Brooker was all up in the Cavaliers' huddle, listening to their future plays, and the coach's reactions once he realized was hilarious.
You're not supposed to be here.
In a comedic twist on the soccer pitch, a goalkeeper takes diving to a whole new level after being touched by the referee. Not sure how the referees caught this, but a golfer got caught cheating in a really smart way when the ball was in the sand, and he took advantage of a practice shot to move a bit of sand off the area surrounding the ball in a very sneaky way, which took several minutes to confirm it happened.
This was his practice swing, and you can see when he took the club back, he definitely took some sand back behind it. Now you can...
Okay, this might be one of the worst dives in football history, but when a player was pretending to be injured, it kind of looked like he was breakdancing. A joke that cost an NFL player $20,000 happened when he jokingly gave the referee $1 as a bribe, which the league didn't find funny at all and decided to fine him.
The official cost him $20,000. It's gonna take more than a...
Okay, maybe this goalkeeper took it a little too far, but at the Libertadores Cup, the goalkeeper from Ecuador actually pretended to be unconscious, and when the medics went to check on him, it was clear he was making it up, and decided to just give the act up, which costed him a red card. A sneaky attempt by coach Mike Tomlin to cheat was when he put himself slightly on the field to slow down an opponent and let his team catch up to him. And well, it costed him a fine of $100,000. An interesting turn of events during a play at the semifinals of Houston Rockets versus Oklahoma City happened when in the fourth quarter, 4 flops occurred in a single play.
Defended by Steven Adams, and as Gordon loses the ball, he attempts to flail backwards for the call. Thunder take over possession. James Harden comes up to defend Chris Paul as he attempts to draw an offensive foul. He also hits the floor.
Sometimes viewers have a better eye than a referee. A completely unbelievable moment at a golf tournament happened when golfer Lexi Thompson slightly moved the ball when marking position, and no one realized except one viewer that decided to email the tournament officials, which made her lose the tournament.
Is this a joke? No, whatever. That's just ridiculous.
During a close Warriors versus Pelicans game, a bizarre moment happened when at a really convenient time for the Pelicans, the lights went out, which even made the commentators question if there was some sort of sabotage.
The Pelicans trying to turn, that's a different way to defend Curry right there, is turn the power off.
For those who don't know, during a volleyball game, if the ball hits the floor, then the point is lost for the team. But somehow a volleyball team managed to get away by just keeping it going. And since the speeds of the ball are well over 60 miles per hour, it's almost impossible to tell real time the player actually touched the ball or not. During a beach volleyball game, one of the players tried moving the line with his foot to avoid the ball landing outside the line, which obviously didn't end up working out for him. During the Women's U20 World Cup, one of the footballers made a dive in an attempt to get a penalty, which obviously didn't work. Okay, this one is obviously impossible to see in real time, but the athlete from Cuba did a world record for the 100 meters hurdles, and it was a very close call between him and the Chinese player. And well, for a minute, everyone thought he won, but when the slow motion footage came in, it was clear the Cuban player was kind of pushing the Chinese player intentionally.
As well, but he got there. Richardson was right there as well. He looked as though he was at the mercy. It enabled Jason Richardson, the Americans, come through and take silver. Bronze for Liu Zhang, and Andy Turner running on the far side there from lane 1. He finished in 4th place.
Sal Alosi was a New York Jets coach who was caught cheating when he tripped a player from Miami in the middle of a game. He later was suspended by the NFL and fined $25,000 for his actions. The famous former soccer player Diego Maradona once used in a very sneaky way his hand to score, and it actually worked. And well, not sure if this other footballer took inspiration from that event, but he did try to score using his hand in a not-so-sneaky way that actually cost him a yellow card. The swimmer Sun Yang, who has a bit of a reputation for being kinda cocky and sometimes even rude to opponents,
second gold medal of these championships. It is.
Was found guilty of taking forbidden substances and got an 8-year ban from the Olympics. During a crazy moment in a motorcycle race, an Italian racer pulled the brake of an opponent going at 130 miles per hour. When the referees were distracted in a football match by taking measurements, one of the players tried to cheat his way into a first down by very sneakily tapping the ball with his foot. Sometimes soccer players can become sort of actors. During a match Brazil versus Belgium, professional footballer Neymar did a performance that was way overreacted, which even started the Neymar Challenge.
Dá vantagem seu juiz, dá vantagem pro Neymar, pegaram ele no caminho. E agora, seu juiz?
When a soccer match is getting close to the end, it's normal for the winning soccer team to kind of waste time to avoid making any mistake that leads to a goal from the opposite team. And well, this goalkeeper took it to an extreme by secretly untying his shoe.
اگه شرایط بازی رو واقعا پیدا کرده باشه که اسمش رو نیمکت نشینا رد شده و گوران لیرکوویچ.
During a big League of Legends event, one of the players was caught glancing at the audience screen, which gave his team an advantage because it showed where the opposite team is. And even though it doesn't seem much, there was millions of dollars on the line, and the player was fined $30,000 for that glance. In a hilarious attempt at cheating, a soccer player from Chile grabbed his opponent's hand and hits himself with it, something never before seen in soccer history.
Casi que Carrasco le llevó a Montaño la mano, fíjate. Fíjate lo que hace Carrasco. Por favor, Carrasco.
After a very exaggerated flop from NBA player Corey Brewer, he was fined $5,000 for his actions.
And puts it up and in with an athletic catch, and it's 32-24.
I think it's a foul, but I think Corey Brewer may get a call.
During a professional football match, one of the players of the team in yellow managed to push the goalie without the ref noticing, but somehow the team still managed to not score. Floyd Mayweather was known for having some of the best defense boxing has ever seen, and when Victor Ortiz was fighting for the welterweight title, he was getting frustrated and tried headbutting Floyd.
Cortez calling timeout. They're talking to each other.
And well, in one of the strangest knockouts in boxing, Floyd proceeded to knock Ortiz out while the ref wasn't looking. And this was an incredibly controversial moment, despite being obvious Floyd Mayweather was going to win the fight. But Ortiz's fans were not happy, claiming that Floyd sucker punched him. And on the post-fight interview, the interviewer called out Floyd Mayweather for his tactics multiple times, causing Floyd to walk out.
What are you heard him. You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know about boxing. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your...
During a 500-meter women's short track, a truly Olympic-level cheat that requires an amazing amount of precision and coordination happened when the Chinese skater flicked the marker to trip one of the competitors. During a weigh-in, a fighter who did not make weight sneakily pushed down the towel, giving him a 1.2 pounds fake weight loss that made him magically make the weight required.
And now Daniel Cormier is back and made weight. How did that happen?
Daniel, how did you miraculously lose 1.2 pounds in 90 seconds?
Even though Taekwondo doesn't have that many illegal moves, since kicking and punching is allowed, things such as attacking with the knee and pushing your opponent are illegal. During the World Taekwondo Cup, one of the players would not stop pushing her opponent. Even though labeling flopping as cheating might not be completely accurate, it still has the potential to unfairly change the outcome of a game. During a Clippers vs. Warriors game, Blake Griffin took a dive and turned into a Boeing 747.
Came from a long way to get that.
Maybe this was not technically cheating, but competitors in the tournament claimed it was, and it's still talked about to this day. When Tiger Woods had a very rough shot since he landed the ball next to a boulder, his fans and team came to the rescue and moved the rock. And well, they didn't touch the ball, but some argue it was unfair. In probably the most heartbreaking cheating scandal in sporting history, during the Paralympics in which only athletes with disabilities can compete, 10 out of the 12 players in the Spain basketball team weren't disabled, with even the coach telling them to slow down. Sometimes you flop and you have to pay the price. After badminton teams realized that losing the first rounds of playoffs gives them a more favorable match, thus having a higher chance of getting into the 2012 Olympics, teams just started losing on purpose.
Man, watch this. China lets it drop, and South Korea follows up by serving it way outside the line. An Indonesian team followed suit by tanking, and the South Korean head coach admitted the Chinese started this, so we did the same.
When Buddy Hield tried to flop on Melo, the ref couldn't help but laugh.
Oh, what's the flop? The delayed reaction. Referee Tyler Ford is like, buddy, what are you doing?
In order to protect quarterbacks, if one is sliding, there's a rule that they aren't allowed to hit them. This player kept doing fake slides, and everyone around him stopped playing. In the sport of rugby, a big scandal happened during the Heineken Cup quarterfinal when a Harlequins player claimed he was injured and had a mouthful of blood to prove it. And well, in reality, it was fake blood from a capsule he had inside his mouth. That way, they could make another player substitution late in the game. This resulted in a £215 British fine.
And Evans about to come back on.
If you're in a swimming competition for breaststroke, you're not allowed to do other types of kicks, except the one used for breaststroke. This swimmer did 4 illegal kicks during the pullout in the 50-meter breast, and well, he did not get caught or disqualified. And apparently this is very common in swimming, with even Sydney Herald saying that everyone else is doing it, and if you're not doing it, you're falling behind. When a goalkeeper's team was winning a game that was close to an end, he took time wasting to another level. When the referee's eyes are on vacation, players get creative. On June 16, 1983, the sport of boxing changed forever. In a highly anticipated bout, Luis Resto stepped into the ring to face Billy Collins Jr. But what should have been a fair fight was revealed to be a brutal assault when Luis Resto went to shake the hand of Billy's corner, and Billy's father immediately noticed that Luis's gloves were completely missing the padding.
Tremendous night. A lot of excitement here. You can call it just like the old days. You can't hold the commission. All depends on
his father's in the corner with him. Billy Collins. The father is in the corner.
What had happened was that Luis Resto, with his trainer Panama Lewis, removed the padding from his gloves. Both were charged and sentenced to jail. Okay, this is perhaps one of the craziest cheating stories in sports, but a figure skater named Nancy Kerrigan was attacked by a random man who used a baton to injure her leg. Later, it was found out that the attack was orchestrated by the husband of her figure skating teammate Tonya Harding. According to Tonya, she didn't have anything to do with the planning of the attack, but still, all things considered, it was very suspicious. And well, when they were found guilty, Tonya was fined $100,000, given 3 years probation and 500 hours of community service. Okay, this one was quite a complicated way of cheating, but during an esports tournament of Formula E, one of the players decided to cheat in a strange way by hiring someone to drive for him. This was quite obvious by the fact he managed to place third, after in the last races being in the 9th place. And well, also his face wasn't showing due to a monitor covering it.
Microphone every single time, so unfortunately we were never able to see Daniel's face.
Plus, to make things worse, in the top 3 winners' interview after the race, he didn't show up because according to him he was having connectivity issues. The consequences of this was a €10,000 fine and was suspended by Audi. During a hurdle race, when one of the runners misstepped in one of the hurdles, he simply knew there was no way to come back. A very obvious attempt at cheating from a volleyball player happened when he quite literally grabbed the leg of one of his opponents under the net. Not sure what this cycler was thinking, but a very evident cheating attempt was caught on camera when during a bicycle race he decided to hold on to his team car.
David just cruise in for the rest of the day and find himself a group. But we've had confirmation that there is 1 minute and 20 seconds between this group containing Vincenzo Nibali.
A marathon runner was stripped of his 3rd place medal at the Kielder Marathon after he took city buses to get a massive advantage. And well, he tried arguing that it's not cheating if you keep running in the bus.
See Mr. Sloan get on a bus, get off a bus, and then run the last part of a mile into the finishing line.
A kind of embarrassing moment for Bradley Beal happened when he attempted a crazy flop, which even made his opponents applaud his efforts.
Backcourt. And Al Horford is applauding the acting.
Wow!
Despite the incredible technology of VAR systems, some really obvious fouls still go unnoticed. For example, at a tennis match, when Murray managed to get a point, despite obviously crossing the net with his racket.
The incident happened in Miami in 2014, and I guess the Hawkeye replay system doesn't cover obvious like this.
A fast-acting moment from a soccer player happened when he realized he wasn't in the best position to be in and pretended to get hit in order to get a penalty. Not sure how he thought he was going to get away with this, but an Australian cricket player was caught on camera tampering the ball with sandpaper that he had in his pocket in order to get an advantage. With Formula One being the most viewed motorsport event and being backed by people with huge amounts of money, teams often have a lot of pressure to win races, and the engineers are pushed to attempt to bend the rules to get a bit of an edge. A known cheating attempt was done when Williams' team fitted a big water tank inside the car that was supposedly used as a braking fluid, but in reality they just dumped the water in the first few laps and got away with having the cars being under the required weight. When a Twitch streamer was playing CSGO in competitive while live streaming, she forgot to switch her hacks off, which was a software that allowed her to see players through the walls, which is obviously against the rules. And well, when she realized what was going on, she claimed it was just a glitch.
Yo, you guys, do you guys ever get that that weird glitch in CS:GO where it shows your rank, that it shows everyone's rank? Because my game, I played the other day. I played the other day with Rock, and he got that, and now I have it.
Okay, not 100% sure why Edmund Sumner thought this might work, but during a Pacers vs 76ers game, Sumner made a pretty dramatic flop.
Sumner called for the foul. Embiid joins the flop.
During NBA games, it's common for a team to huddle in order to make a strategy or share important information. During the Warriors vs Pelicans Game 5, Draymond Green was caught sneaking into the Pelicans huddle, trying to listen to what was going on.
Buddy, you can elbow him right to the face. You can't be in your huddle. It's not a game right now. It's not cute if you're the other.
This might be one of the most advanced forms of cheating, but a cycling champion was caught mechanically doping when officials noticed she was hiding a motor in her bike. The way it worked was she was able to turn the motor on and off with a Bluetooth button hidden in her bicycle handlebar. For those who don't know, in fencing, the score is counted when the blade makes contact with the target area, completing an electric circuit. In 1976 Olympics, a three-time Russian world champion made a few modifications to the blade that allowed him, with the click of a button, for the electronic scoring mechanism to record a hit despite no touch. This is a competitor explaining how he did it.
Up to the plug, they were being tampered with, and apparently he had something on his finger where he could close the two weapons, and this would cause the light to come on.
During a World Cup qualifier match in the final minutes of the game, the French team scored and had a little help of a sneaky hand. Pole vaulting is one of the hardest and most dangerous sports, with pole vaulters on average being more likely to get injured than football players. So athletes train incredibly hard to make it in competitions. When Malavisi Sonia was not having a good run at the Italian indoor competition, in a Hail Mary attempt after knowing she touched the bar, she still pretended to make a celebration, but the judges did not fall for it.
E attenzione, la asticella è rimasta su, è ballata per un tempo deciso.
During the US Open, Phil Mickelson did an illegal play when he hit a moving ball.
His speed has been terrible. Whoa. Whoa.
Calciopoli is the name of a match-fixing scandal done by Juventus' sporting director, in which the distribution of referees was manipulated, and they were also bribed with Rolexes and cars to hand out yellow cards to players, so they're suspended in later matches. Vishy Anand is a genius chess grandmaster from India, and for a charity event he was going to play against a lot of celebrities at the same time to raise money. And one of the players was the youngest billionaire of India, Nikhil Kamath, and to everyone's surprise he actually defeated the grandmaster, leaving everyone in awe. But I guess the competitive juices got the best of him, since it was revealed that he was cheating using a program called Stockfish. And in the stream is kind of obvious he's looking the other direction.
And everything was going fine, as we can see, कि black का भी development हो रहा था, white was doing fine. But he did sacrifice a pawn at some point. Wow, okay, so I'm going to actually...
In a moment of sheer absurdity, a goalkeeper with the ball safely in hand decides to take a spontaneous dive within the penalty box. In the 2013 Hammer Throw World Championship, competitor Tatiana Lysenko won with a world record throw at 258 feet. This was a feat thought impossible, but sparked debates since she tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs in the past. And well, in 2016, an Italian organization retested her samples from the competition, and she tested positive for doping products, which meant she lost her titles and a lifetime ban from the sport. In a kind of hilarious moment that later resulted in a fine for both players, LeBron James and David West double flopped in a kind of ridiculous manner. In an ultra-marathon, which is a 56-mile run, the top 10 people to finish the race were going to get a nice cash prize. And well, in an interesting turn of events, it was found out that the 9th place winner, Sergio Matsoning, didn't actually run the whole race. So how did he do it? He and his twin brothers plotted a plan in which they switched places several times during the race. One of the pieces of evidence that helped prove this allegation was that the brothers, every time they switched, the electronic watch for the race switched places too. Swimming is widely regarded as one of the most challenging sports, due to its physical demands from breath control to muscular strength. This is why swimming has a long history of performance-enhancing drugs, with perhaps the most famous one when Yulia Efimova was banned for 16 months and stripped of all her world records, after testing positive for PEDs, but she was still allowed to return, which bothered some of her competitors, especially Lily King.
Making your finger number one and you've been caught for drug cheating, I'm just not, not a fan.
In probably one of the most dramatic flops in the NBA, Tony Allen threw himself to the ground, despite not being touched.
Boy, Allen sold that. But then the post-reaction, I mean, this is theatrical right here. Watch this. Oh yeah, I forgot. I gotta sell it more. Collapse.
Stockfish is a chase engine that uses a Minimax algorithm that calculates all possible moves almost in an instant, and it's statistically impossible for any human to defeat it. So when chess legend Magnus Carlsen was streaming and a competitor was using Stockfish, everyone thought it was game over. But Carlsen proved why he's the reigning chess champion, and outsmarted the chess engine by basically running it out of time.
And what can I say? He played really well for his rating. There's no doubt about that.